Okay. I wanted to address the fact that for years I was looking for a higher quality, higher resolution copy of this Sonic illustration that used to be on Sega's old Sonic Channel site. Um, and they had this colored version, fully colored version, which is obviously pretty low resolution. And then they had a, black and white line art uh, version of the illustration, which was like a coloring book sheet. And it actually is a vector um, illustration, so you can zoom in forever without any pixelation. So that's awesome, but it lacks the coloring. And then recently I discovered that people, I guess there had been a Sonic Art Assets DVD back in 2009 that somebody uploaded to the internet. And it actually has a high resolution raster version of Sonic. So you think, okay, great, I mean, it's pixelated, but like that is to say, it's a raster image, but it's a very high resolution. So, you know, what's not to like? Well, it turns out that um, while the Sonic Channel editions, both the colored version and the line art um, match each other, it turns out that if we compare the line art to the high-res version, if you look at his hands, you'll notice that his hands have changed in position and size. And also his three quills, if you look at the tips of his quills, those all changed position also. Whereas if you look at his eyes or his nose or anything in the middle, the interior of his shoes, those are all totally static. Those are locked in position. And he also does have a stroke, an additional stroke around the outside, um, just the very outside edge all the way around, in both the wallpaper image and the coloring sheet. So when we toggle this, you'll notice that, say, around, the tips of his ears or the outside, well, his hand is a bad example because that moves. But yeah, like around the outside of his ear, or his knee, or the tips of his shoes, that kind of thing, or his tail, or, these back spikes back here. If you look at the thickness of any of them as I toggle between this and the high-res colored version, you'll notice that the lines are thicker around the outside of him. And I did reconstruct for the high-res colored version. I reconstructed the circle backgrounds and or circles background and also the outer stroke, the outer border around him, so I can turn those on. And now we can compare, say, the original Sonic Channel wallpaper to this, and maybe that makes the differences a little bit more clear to you. Um, I haven't 100% nailed the drop shadow, but it's a little difficult to do that when you're trying to compensate for rotation and sizing and all that stuff. Anyway, hopefully that makes it a little bit more clear in terms of, it's really the quills and the gloves that change size in between the two. After I add the outline border around the DVD edition of the illustration. Anyway, hope that clears things up for anyone out there. We'll talk to you later. Bye.